Hi, this is Stephen Bourne with the Rye Civic League, and believe it or not, we're in the Rye History Museum, and it looks different. Not Alex, but Andy Stecher is going to come and tell you all about this new exhibit that's opening August 3rd for members, August 9th for everyone, and I walked in, I was like, holy cow, look what they've done. So come on down. If you film me a little early, I got my Pan Mass Challenge hat because I'll be riding for cancer all weekend again. So what happened in the month of July? Actually the 30th was last night on the TAP grant project that's happening. The DOT presented that with Jason Rucker. The big things about that is one, Lang Road coming down to one road and the different options for the bike path. And very interesting, and Tom King said, you know, we did the charrette and everything to figure out what we want the town center to be like, but this project can only do safety things. That's the only thing the town's paying for. So it was a really good point. You know, the whole charrette actually went from Grange Park all the way down past Central Road. What do we want for the total town center? This project is limited to just safety, and we'll do it again. Speaking of the center of town, we said goodbye to Chief Walsh. You can still see him. He'll be in Northampton, but Rye Rec, the library, they did an incredible job with a barbecue, other people with food to say thank you for all the years of service. And then on Monday, a very beautiful, very nice ceremony for Chief Blaisdell that swore him in, and he talked to his family. So we have a new police chief. There were 4 different police chiefs there, so that happened. The select board, Bob McGrath has led in an effort with some blue things to get people to donate, so that's being launched. The corner of 1215 Ocean, so that's Wallace Road and Ocean Boulevard, part of the DOT said that, all right, if you're going to do this, but you've got to put in a crosswalk. The developer is, I'm ready to put the crosswalk in and the signs, but the town needs to maintain it, and the town is not wanting to do that. It's a state road, and that's a safety issue, it's not moving forward. The select board is also, member Wright, is working with the state to try to put in parking meters around Route 1. It's something that's been discussed in the past. Some people, like me, feel like it's taxing people. I did some quick numbers. That's attached there too. On the planning board meeting, Dana Truslow came and talked to the planning board about all of the new high-tech septic systems that are in the wellhead protection for our water. And what we found was that there's a lot of room for improvement. Notice how we manage that. When people go away for 6 months, the system stops working. So there's an area of improvement. Speaking of that, if you were at Foss Beach, that was closed. Pirates Cove, Wall of Sam was closed twice more for the E. coli. August 11th, hopefully, for the Parsons Creek watershed, the updated management plan is going to be presented to the select board. Not great news for the town. We've had an incredible library director, Andy Richmond. He handed in his notice. He just did a phenomenal job for us. The select board also was talking about the intersection of Washington and Wallace, what can be done there. And those are separate projects, and you know, to try to tee that, but it's not part of that state. Also, conservation. Around Parsons Creek, we're trying to, the Parsons Creek watershed plan, expand that to cover more, but a property outside of that, expanding it. And Causeway, actually.
You can see from the nice t-shirt that I'm wearing, the 20th century has been so profound for Rye. It really used to be an agricultural and fisher community, and then it went through a period where a lot of people came to Rye for vacation. There were very big hotels here. Unfortunately, many of them burned down over time. You may have heard of the Farragut or the Seaview Hotel, and we cover all those parts. But then Rye, through the 20th century, went through a number of stages, and we went through a great effort right here, decade by decade, starting with 1900s, okay, all the way through each decade, essentially collecting facts, figures, artifacts, anything that basically shows what happened to Rye over the last 100 years from 1900 to 2000, okay? So this makes the exhibit really special. A lot of your neighbors and friends donated artifacts over time. They're part of our collection. We brought all this together. Now our space is limited, so we had to make some choices, but you will really see that this is something tremendous that you will appreciate living in this community, what made Rye what it is today. One very special thing I want to point out, we recently, a couple of years ago, got this tremendous board. This was actually posted in the center of Rye when what we know today as Parsons Field, that was land owned by the Parsons family, was supposed to be developed for housing. And in fact, the community came together and actually pitched in the money to ultimately made it possible for the town to acquire this property with the help of the people here in Rye. So this was a true grassroots community effort, and we actually have the original sign here, okay? So we continue basically, through all the various decades. We focus on everyday life, what people did, schools, parades, the new police chief, whatever, people in Rye came together and they did. So hopefully when you actually come to see us, our grand opening is going to be this weekend, but subsequently every Saturday from August 9th from 10 to 12 o'clock through Christmas, the museum will be open, and you're welcome to come and see all the details here. Somebody will always be here from the Rye Historical Society to answer any questions that you may have, please come by and study these artifacts and see what made Rye what it is today. Again, we go from January 1, 1900 all the way to December 31st, 1999. 100 years of Rye fully documented, and it'd be great to have you here and enjoy this.
Thank you, Andy. Everybody come on by.
So, this weekend, Sunday, August 3rd, is actually our grand opening. All members of the Rye Historical Society are welcome to join us on the town green, on the library green here in front of the museum at 3:30. There's going to be beverages, so if you're a member, you're invited. If you cannot make this Sunday for the grand opening, every Saturday subsequent all the way to Christmas, we're open here Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and we welcome everyone to join us.